I'm in Ravenna in northern Italy, and Ravenna is one of the most significant places in Europe. Its influence on European civilization was immense. It's famous for its churches, its architecture. Let's go and explore. Join me, Gregory Slies, on a journey of discovery here at the history scene, as I explore 2,000 years of Western Christendom. And keeping us company will be breathtaking basilicas and magnificent cathedrals and abbeys, once seen, certainly never forgotten. If you like what the history scene does, please subscribe and click the like button. It really helps us to develop the channel. As the Western Roman Empire faced growing threats from barbarian invasions, its Emperor Honorius made Ravenna its capital in 402, moving it from Milan, which Emperor Diocletian had made the capital, in 286. Ravenna offered several key benefits for the empire, which neither Milan nor Rome could now provide, notably a defensive position surrounded as it was by marshes and lagoons. Milan, however, was now being besieged by the Visigoths, while Rome had a centuries-old infrastructure and many easy access points. Ravenna also offered proximity to the Eastern Empire, which allowed for easier communication and support against mounting threats. And being so close to the sea, Ravenna facilitated trade and military logistical advantages. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476, Ravenna became the capital of subsequent barbarian kingdoms, until it was conquered by the Byzantine Empire under Emperor Justinian I, becoming the capital of Byzantine Italy. Later it came under Lombard control and then came under the authority of the papacy, where it remained until the mid-19th century, when it was incorporated into the newly unified Kingdom of Italy. Ravenna is now renowned for its architectural and artistic splendor, blending Roman, early Christian and Byzantine cultures, which offer an unrivaled glimpse into the artistry of late antiquity and early medieval periods. I'm at a complex of some very important buildings here in Ravenna in northern Italy. Now these buildings are important not only for their historical value, but for their architectural significance. Now behind me is the Basilica of San Vitale, which dates back to the 6th century. Now if I move to here, you will see behind me the 5th century Mausoleum of Galla Placidia. And behind me now is the Church of Santa Maria Maggiore. The Basilica of San Vitale is one of the most remarkable examples of early Christian architecture and art in Western Europe. It was begun in 526 by the Ostrogoths and completed in 547 by the Byzantines under Justinian I, who had conquered the territory in 540. The polygonal apse, capitals, narrow bricks, and an early example of flying buttresses are reminiscent of the Byzantine style, while the dome, doorway shapes, and step towers are typical of the Roman style. There are two superposed ambulatories surrounding the core part. Married women may have been the only ones allowed to use the higher one, the matrimonium. This basilica is renowned for its unique octagonal design and breathtaking mosaics of the Hellenistic Roman tradition that cover its floor, walls, and apse. The mosaic masterpieces of the basilica are vivid and intricately detailed, depicting biblical scenes from the Old and New Testaments, as well as depictions of saints, courtly figures, and religious symbolism. They offer a fascinating insight into the cultural and theological themes of the time. The apse mosaic features Christ seated on a blue globe, flanked by angels, To his right is the martyr San Vitale, to whom he offers with his right hand the martyr's crown, and to his left is Bishop Ecclesius, who holds a model of the church. The mosaics of Emperor Justinian, flanked by his court and bishops, and that of his wife Theodora on the opposite wall, are among the most celebrated artworks in the basilica. Dressed in regal robes and adorned with halos, they symbolize the divine right of imperial rule and their role in spreading Christianity. The basilica's architecture, with its soaring columns, expansive dome, and intricate floor patterns, create a space that feels grand yet intimate. The Church of Santa Maria Maggiore reflects the evolution of early Christian architecture and art. Originating from the early 6th century, the church underwent multiple transformations over the centuries, with substantial modifications made during the 9th and 17th centuries. Although overshadowed by its immediate neighbour, San Vitale, Santa Maria Maggiore is nevertheless noted for its elegant yet modest design, which embodies the architectural transition from late antiquity to the medieval period. Constructed under the direction of the Bishop of Ravenna, Ecclesius, it was devoted to the Virgin Mary, who had been revered as the Mother of God since the Council of Ephesus in 431. The church could well have been converted from a house belonging to the bishop's family. The apse, according to the 16th century historian Girolamo Rossi, once contained a stunning mosaic of the Madonna and Child. But unfortunately, when Rossi came to survey the church, the building lay in ruins. The apse, which is still the original design, may well have made up the entire church, similar in design to the central octagonal layout of San Vitale. With the exception of the apse and the 8th-9th century bell tower, the entire church was eventually demolished and then entirely rebuilt by the architect Pietro Grossi, who gave the church a nave and a transept in typical basilica style. The main altar, composed of polychrome marble, is topped by a 17th century statue of the Virgin and Child. In the right transept, there is part of the sarcophagus reportedly used to intern Bishop Ecclesius himself. One of the most popular features of the basilica is a small altar at the far right, dedicated to Saint Mary of the Swellings, or more recently called Our Lady of the Tumours, on account of the appearance of swollen cheeks on the Virgin in a small accompanying fresco of the Madonna and Child. As a result, the fresco often receives petitions for cures for a variety of illnesses. The Mausoleum of Galla Placidia, dating to the early 5th century, is one of the most exquisite examples of early Christian art and architecture. Galla Placidia, whose complex life is a story all of its own, was the daughter of Emperor Theodosius I, sister of Emperor Honorius, wife of the Visigoth barbarian king Adolf, and after his death, wife of Constantius, later Constantius III. She was also a great patron of church building in Ravenna. Though modest in size, the mausoleum was initially attached to the nearby church of Santa Croce to serve as its oratory. It is designed in the shape of a Greek cross with 4 arms extending from a central space, all surmounted by a low dome which is not visible from outside. Externally, the building is unassuming, with simple brickwork walls, which is typical of early Christian architecture in Ravenna. The true splendor of the mausoleum lies inside, where it is covered from floor to ceiling with elaborate and colorful mosaics. This contrast between the plain exterior and the stunning interior creates a dramatic effect, emphasizing the spiritual journey from earthly simplicity to heavenly glory that is central to Christian teaching. At the corners of the dome are symbolic representations of the four evangelists, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, each depicted with their traditional symbols, the angel, the lion, the ox, and the eagle. This depiction of the heavens suggests the promise of eternal life, a common theme in early Christian iconography. One of the most striking mosaics in the mausoleum is the figure of Christ as the Good Shepherd, attired in golden robes and seated among his flock of sheep in a lush green landscape. This image reflects a pastoral view of Christ as a caring protector, contrasting with the regal depictions seen in later Byzantine art. The use of bright colours, intricate detailing, and symbolic imagery in this scene reflects both classical influences and emerging Christian iconography, highlighting the transitional nature of early Christian art. Elsewhere, there is a figure that is most probably that of Saint Lawrence, on account of its positioning beside a fiery gridiron, which would symbolize Saint Lawrence's martyrdom by fire. The figure, dressed in Roman attire, is dynamic, and the fire is depicted with expressive vibrancy, demonstrating the early Christian emphasis on martyrdom and sacrifice. This iconography serves to remind people of the Christian virtues of faith and endurance. The building also contains 3 sarcophagi. The one on the right is attributed to Galla Placidia's brother, Honorius, the one on the left to her husband, Constantius, and her son, Valentinian III, and the largest in the middle to Galla Placidia herself. These attributions, however, are down to legend, and there is no conclusive evidence that Galla Placidia was ever buried in the mausoleum. The use of intricate mosaic patterns rather than frescoes indicates a stylistic choice that would endure in Byzantine art for centuries to come. The mausoleum stands as a testament to Ravenna's importance as a center of culture and spirituality in late antiquity.